The UFC is headed out of the Apex and into an actual arena for the third fight card in a row. And these arena cards get live crowds. We get cheers, we get boos, we get the overall ambiance of a big fight card. The UFC is headed to Des Moines, Iowa in a highly anticipated fight night with a very good main event, a phenomenal co-main event, and a bunch of fights that are going to be enjoyable to watch. My name is Angelo, this is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC Des Moines fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. But before we look forward, let's take a second and look back at the phenomenal fight card that was UFC Kansas City. UFC Kansas City was unbelievable. We had 14 fights, a ton of finishes. We had 2 fights that are already contenders for knockout of the year. If you want my full, raw, immediate reaction to every single one of those fights, just look for the Home Alone thumbnail on the YouTube channel. I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning. Soon as the fights were over, I sat my big ass in this chair, filmed a recap, gave you my thoughts, and uploaded it. It was an unbelievable fight night. Ian Gary crawling like a baby for his life late in the 5th round. Anthony Smith flipping off some enormous dude in the audience. Couple of unbelievable knockouts. Overall, this was an unbelievable fight card, and a lot of it, in my opinion, had to do with the crowd. You get the cheers, you get the boos, you get the energy from the people, and that works its way into the fights and how they actually happen. I am looking forward to this card, to UFC Des Moines, and this isn't the only thing I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to continue this winning streak with the bets. I made a couple of bucks at UFC 313, a couple of bucks the week before at UFC Vegas 105, and a bunch of bucks last night at UFC Kansas City. Overall, spectacular betting night. I gave you a 33% ROI. I put out 4 units. I brought back 5.31. Jakey boy, a little better than even. Made a couple of bucks. Anytime you're going to make some money and not lose money is a solid night. Bet Sam, unbelievable night for him. He had a plus 1,400 prop bet. His slam of the week, that's basically his safety parlay. That hit. My safety parlay hit. We gave you 8 units of net profit overall. Pretty much all the things fell into place. Overall, a great fight card, a bunch of phenomenal bets, and I'm hoping we're going to repeat that exact same success here at UFC Des Moines. And this isn't the only fight card to look forward to. We had a week off for Easter. Now we are full-blown moving forward with like a 12-event stretch. We have UFC Des Moines this weekend. Then we have UFC 315 next weekend. After that, we have the Gilbert Burns-Michael Morales fight night, and then we have Macy Barber taking on Aaron Blanchfield. Those are the 4 events you're going to get full access to if you go to WeWantPicks.com. On the website, you'll get every single bet that we place, every single pick that we have. You'll get the artificial intelligence. You'll get every single tool that we offer. Anything you could ever want or need heading into a fight week is available on the website for an entire month for only $10. It is quite literally the greatest value in this space. If you are one of the, I think we had 300 new signups this past weekend. If you are one of the new signups this past weekend, and the only thing you ever did was experience UFC Des Moines, UFC Kansas City from a few days ago, signing up, having a peek, you paid for a year's worth of premium already. So now what you're going to do is you missed out on that. You didn't quite sign up. My sales pitch somehow wasn't compelling enough. Well, here we are. Heading into UFC Des Moines. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You'll unlock every single pick, every single bet, every single tool. Here's a look at the latest and greatest. We added what's called a tape index. A lot of you watch this because you got nothing to do on the toilet on a Sunday morning. A lot of you watch this because you actually care about these fights. You want to do some research. You want to hear an opinion from the big man, somebody who knows what they're talking about. Some of you are hate watching. We're going to address that later. One specific hate watcher will be addressed directly in a later breakdown. But for now, the latest tool that we added to Premium without touching the price point is the Tape Index. This will give you every fighter on every card. This is built out for the future, clean through UFC 316. You select your event, you select your fighter, you get their full fight history. You click on one of those fights, you'll get even more details about that specific fight. And you click on the little red play button and boom, video pops up. You can do your own tape study, do your own research. We have another tool called the DraftKings Optimizer. This will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. It'll use all sorts of data points to go ahead and build those lineups. It'll build up to 150 lineups if you like. And we also have a brand new beginner mode that we added. A lot of you don't know what DraftKings Fantasy is. A lot of you have never used an optimizer. And instead of catering to the small percentage of people who know what it is or how to use it, what we've done is we've built this from scratch. We coded it from zero and we added a beginner mode. Instead of expecting you to know the numbers and the acronyms, it's just going to ask you some simple questions and walk forward. Last week was tax week. In America, your taxes were due. A giant percentage of the world uses TurboTax. And TurboTax is something similar. Taxes are very complicated, and it makes it very simple by asking some straightforward questions. We literally took that model and implemented it into a DraftKings Fantasy Optimizer. That optimizer will be preloaded with the best DraftKings ownership projections on the planet. Here are the results from UFC Kansas City. We had the best projections, period, end of story. That is an objective fact. These are numbers. There is not an opinion here. And if you compare these numbers to everybody else in this world, including the massive fantasy conglomerates like Awesemo and Roto Grinders, you will see we are the best in the world. And if you're like Angelo, cry, whatever the hell some of these people do, pause this video. Go to rotogrinders.com. Tell me what they charge a month. Pause the video. Go check out some of those other products. See what they charge. Come back here and say, thank you for the $10, Big Ange. You also get a fight simulator. Fight simulator will simulate these fights 100,000 times. It'll take every fight on the card. It'll bring in all sorts of data points like historical grappling stats, historical striking stats. It'll use the implied probability. It'll simulate the fights 100,000 times and then give you those outputs. You can use those outputs to find some bets. You can use those outputs to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. Pause the video. Go look up SaberSim. Similar product, right? It is a simulator. Tell me what they charge. Come back here. $10. We have a tool called the Data Analyzer for the data nerds. You want to deep dive the stats. You want to look at biometrics versus biometrics, significant strikes landed in decisions versus TKOs. If you want to see every stat you could ever want or need, it is available to you in this tool. You can add and remove filters and go ahead and tell the story, find your spots, look for prop bets. Do your own research. The Data Analyzer has quite literally everything you could ever need to do your research on one single page. Everything that I'm mentioning is available in one package for $10. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. We have built quite literally the greatest offering in this space at this price point. Nothing is remotely close. And everything that we offer is available inside the app. One small caveat. The tape index is not in the app. The tape index, you'll have to use a mobile browser or the website directly from a computer. And that's just because of how iOS works with pop-up videos and things like that. The app is available for free, 100% free. You will get push notifications when bets are placed. You'll get push notifications when things happen, even if you are not a premium member. Download the app. Turn on the push notifications. Just a few events ago at UFC 313, we had 2 fights drop a couple of hours before the event. Every single person who downloaded the app got a push notification saying, hey, these 2 fights dropped. Go check your bets. Go check your fantasy lineups. Do what you need to do, boys. And you can find that app in the App Store. Just search We Want Picks. And next week, and I mentioned, is UFC 315. It is a pay-per-view event. And what do we do for pay-per-views? We open the mail. People send us letters. People that have started small businesses send us the product that they're trying to get off the ground. Go ahead, send what you're going to send, a letter, grandma's cookies. I actually won't eat homemade food. I'm not trying to die. Send what you're going to send. We'll open the letters. We'll read the things. We'll show off your product, whatever it is. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Let's go ahead and break down this fight card. Opening up UFC Des Moines, we have Juliana Miller taking on Ivana Petrovic. Juliana Miller, pretty inexperienced. She only has 6 professional fights, and her record isn't that great. She is somehow the ultimate fighter champion, though. She's not the most skilled fighter, but she will work for your money. She's aggressive. She comes forward immediately. While she can be wild on the feet, she is a grappler at heart. The inexperience, the lack of actual skills can obviously be a problem for her because she is all heart and all determination. She might be able to sneak out a win or 2, but she doesn't know what to do with it. She doesn't know what to do if she grinds it to the ground. She doesn't know what to do if she gets you to the cage. She's just sort of fighting on instinct, and those instincts aren't exactly spectacular. She is coming off that KO loss to Luana Santos, where it was pretty clear that she kind of sucks. She's taking on Ivana Petrovic. She's a well-rounded fighter. Busy striking, mostly a grappler, though. She's got solid wrestling, heavy pressure, BJJ. She will work you against the cage, drag you to the ground, immediately start looking for a submission. She is only 7-2 in her MMA career, but it is quickly evolving. She's coming off that split decision loss to Jamie Lynn Horth, where she was sloppy, but she was tough, she was patient, and she did have some moments of success. And when I watch these fights in front of my computer, right, sometimes I'll watch at this desk, sometimes I'll watch in my what we call the media room. Sometimes I'm just watching on the couch. But if I have my laptop in front of me and I'm not out with the family watching it on my phone like a disconnected dad who went to get cigarettes and never came back, I will take notes. And when I'm taking notes, I'm just writing how I feel in the moment. And that is very important to me and my process, because going back and watching a fight, already knowing the outcome, is very different than watching it live. The frustration you have live, the impression you have immediately while watching something is very, very different than going back, doing the tape study, and knowing what happened. Sometimes I have to do that because I don't remember what happened or my notes are bad as shit. Other times, I look at my notes and I have everything I need. And in this case, I looked at my notes. I didn't need to go back. I didn't have to watch a Juliana Miller fight. I had my notes. And my notes from her last fight said, sucks. That's it. Those are the notes. Sucks. So there it is, folks. There's your expert analysis. Juliana Miller sucks. The reality, though, is they both kind of suck. Neither one of these women are spectacular at fist fighting. At least if we were judging the actual skill sets, both of them are tough as hell. Both of them are going to move forward. Both of them are going to gunsling. Neither one of them is a coward. They're going to turn away. So these two women are going to move forward. They're going to fight like crazy. And we're going to find out who doesn't suck as much. I expect that's going to be Ivana Petrovic. I also think minus 275 is insane. A 3-1 favorite? That's insane. She should not be a 3-1 favorite. This is much closer than that. Everything I just said was very similar to the breakdown I gave you from Matt Schnell and Jimmy Flick at UFC Kansas City. I said neither one of these guys are very good. We're basically deciding between poop from a butt and poop from a butt. It's both poop. What are we going to do here? And I said nobody should be a 3-1 favorite in this fight. And at the time when I did that breakdown, Jimmy Flick was a 3-1 underdog. And I was like, listen, I get it. The guy kind of sucks, but he should not be. And then what did we get? A wild back and forth fight that was super close, that an argument could be made, could have gone the other direction. Really came down to how you scored that second round. And the point here is, don't bet on this fight. Don't bet on this fight. Juliana Miller is not great technically speaking, but she's tough as shit. She will move forward and she'll try to win. And sometimes that's all you need in some of these low-level fights. Ivana Petrovic is the pick. $0 will be spent on this fight. Not even the over 2.5. We just got cooked on that with Jocelyn Edwards and Chelsea Chandler. Not touching it. I might do a plus 3.5 on Juliana Miller. Then we have Thomas Petersen taking on DonTale Mayes. This should be a decent old school slug fight. A couple of big sluggish dudes getting after in the heavyweight division to remind people why this weight class kind of sucks to watch sometimes. But we got Thomas Petersen, solid wrestler. He'll work everything from bear hugs to doubles. His striking is not very good, but he will close that gap with straight punches. And while moving forward, he'll try to get you against the cage, and he'll work in the clinch, again, trying to get this fight to the ground. If Petersen cannot take you down, he's going to be in some trouble. But if he can, he's got great control, very good ground and pound. He's coming off that KO loss to the incredibly handsome cover of a model magazine, Shamil Gaziev, where he had an easy takedown, meaning Thomas Petersen had an easy takedown, but he went ahead and lost that as soon as it hit the ground. He's taking on DonTale Mayes. DonTale Mayes is a pretty good boxer. He's got heavy hands, solid footwork. He will set up his combinations well. He's going to march forward. He'll throw everything with 100% effort, everything from leg kicks to overhands. He's not a wrestler, but he does have 7 takedowns in the UFC. He's coming off that instant submission loss to Walter Walker, where he was taken down and heel hooked almost as fast as your mother puts out on a first date. This is a pretty straightforward breakdown. Either Thomas Petersen gets the takedowns and wins, or he hangs down the feet too long and gets knocked out. Given the fact that DonTale has been struggling with grapplers as of late, I'm going to lead towards Petersen with all ease. Kind of an odd way to spell that. He took down Gaziev very easily, and if he had a touch more control, he might have been able to make something happen there. I like Petersen here, but another weird fight with crazy odds. Minus 280. He's minus 225 on some books, and that line is a little sort of spread out depending on how quickly your book adjusts to some line movement. But the reality is he's about a 2-1 favorite, if not a little more. He should win. And if you just do 1 + 1 = 2, DonTale struggles to defend takedowns. Thomas Petersen gets takedowns. Then we have Gaston Bolanos taking on Quang Lee. Gaston Bolanos is a solid striker with solid Muay Thai background. He's got good power, a willingness to engage. His claim to fame in the Muay Thai world and MMA has been a spinning back elbow. He had multiple knockouts in Muay Thai and then a couple in MMA as well with that one specific technique. Him and Molly McCann. What great company to keep. Both of them spinning back elbow queens. Gaston Bolanos may have some grappling holes, but in order to exploit them, you're going to need to get through his high guard, and you're going to need to defend yourself from some chaos coming your way, because he will move forward and he will throw. He is not afraid to engage. He's coming off that decision win over Cortavius Romius, where he was taken down 4 times, but he did get 2 of his own, and he controlled the striking. He's taking on Quang. Quang is a striker as well. He's got a Muay Thai stance, a willingness to move forward. He is light on the toes. He has some solid movement. He finds his range and kicks. Likes to hang out on the outside of the pocket before creating chaos and entering it. He does have some takedowns, but they're usually a backup plan. It's usually if things aren't going well, I'm going to go ahead and shoot a takedown or 2. Overall, Quang is durable, scrappy, but also sloppy. He's coming off that KO loss to Long Zhao. I like Gaston Bolanos. Not only does he have the name of a Disney prince, he can fight as well. He's a tough dude. He's never out of a fight. I think Gaston engages on the feet. I think he's got the better connections, and I think ultimately he wins this fight. Quang will likely throw up a handful of desperate takedowns, but I don't think they're going to matter. Gaston is the pick, and I actually think he's pretty affordable. He was minus 180 just a few days ago, minus 225 as well. Like, again, another fight, a regional fight night card where sportsbooks aren't quite fully caught up, but I think that range makes a lot of sense. Minus 180, minus 220. I think that range is perfect for Gaston. I think he wins this fight the majority of the time. Then we have Marina Rodriguez, and she is taking on Gillian Robertson. This is sort of a, oh, you're old now, so let's throw you in the scrapyard kind of matchup. Marina Rodriguez has been struggling as of late, 1 in the last 4. Taking on Gillian Robertson, 4-1 in her last 5. Kind of different tales of the tape there. Marina Rodriguez, at one point in time, just a few years ago, a little younger, she's fighting the upper echelon of the division and having some success. She's a very good boxer, solid speed, good power. Her striking is clean and technical, but she does lack that takedown defense needed to keep fights standing. She is tall for this weight class. She uses that length to fight technical and stay on the outside. Overall, Marina is a solid fighter who can grind out a win or get a finish. She's coming off that split decision loss to Eisman Lucindo, where her takedown defense ultimately failed her, and she's going to need it to work for her in this fight because she's taking on Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson is a grappler. She averages close to 3 takedowns per fight. She has 9 submissions, which gives her the record for the most finishes in the women's flyweight division. Her ability to get women to the ground and submit them is very important because her striking, not great. In fact, I would venture to say that anybody with pretty good takedown defense and pretty good striking can beat Gillian Robertson. She's coming off that decision win over Lana Pinheiro, where she had 5 takedowns and 8 minutes of control. Marina Rodriguez is 38 years old, but she is still a very good striker. Probably top 5 pure strikers in this division. But without the takedown defense, having good striking doesn't mean shit. She is ultimately pretty simple, pretty easy to take down, pretty easy to break down. She's going to touch me up on the feet. I better get her to the ground. That's it. That's what Gillian's going to do here. That's how this fight's going to play out. Gillian is closer to a jiu-jitsu nerd than a Nurmagomedov. The takedowns are not spectacular, but they should be good enough. Even at her 39% takedown accuracy, I think she can get this done. Gillian is the pick, and because Marina is so battle-tested, this could be a split decision. It could be closer than a lot of people are assuming it will be. Minus 270 for Gillian Robertson, almost a 3-1 favorite. Again, it's pretty straightforward. One of them can't defend takedowns. One of them gets takedowns. That should be it. 1 + 1 = 2. And then we have Ryan Loder taking on Azamat Bekoev. This should be a really fun fight for grappling nerds like myself. Ryan Loder is a Division I wrestler. He is also an Ultimate Fighter champion. In the octagon, he's a cautious wrestler. He walks forward, gauging distance, gets you to back up. Then he goes all in on that wrestling. He doesn't throw a ton. He keeps his hands close to his chest, sort of works the range, hangs out on the outside. Then he'll plot forward. He'll wait for you to commit to something, and then he'll get that takedown. He'll drop under a big overhand. He'll try to get you to the cage. He'll shoot real takedowns, push you against there, and work. On the ground, he's got great control. He isn't really looking to finish. Overall, he's a good wrestler, solid grappling awareness, and he's going to do what you expect out of a Division I wrestler who only has 8 fights. He's taking on Azamat Bekoev. This guy's a very well-rounded guy. He made a splash in his UFC debut. He's got powerful strikes, solid takedown defense, solid takedowns, and solid BJJ. He's pretty good everywhere. His technique is not the cleanest. He's not wildly fast either, but he is very powerful. He uses that power well. His takedowns are big. They are heavy. A lot of them are slams. His strikes are also big, heavy, lots of right hands. He's a pretty small guy for this weight class, but he closes distance well, he pressures forward, and he has plenty of cardio. He's coming off that finish win over Zach Reese in his UFC debut. And there's always debates when we talk about some of these high-level wrestlers, about American wrestlers and how they would fare against these untested Russian wrestlers. Years ago, we would find out at an Olympic level, but Russians are banned from the Olympics for a myriad of reasons, and this uprising of high-level wrestlers have never competed. None of the Dagestanis have ever competed on any real stage, so we don't know how they would actually fare on a wrestling mat. Khamzat Chimaev versus Bo Mickle in a straight-up wrestling match. We don't have the footage to make a prediction or determination. All we have is what we've seen inside of the octagon. And that's why this fight is pretty exciting. Ryan Loder is a Division I wrestler who had a good amount of success. Azamat is also a phenomenal wrestler, but I don't know. We don't have competition footage from him. We don't know what he did at that stage. And the reason that kind of matters here is because if Ryan Loder shoots a nice clean takedown, what's the scramble skills going to look like? How is Azamat going to defend that? How is he going to react? I ultimately am going to pick Azamat here because A, he's the well-rounded fighter, and B, I think a lot of this is going to come down to who shoots first. And I think that may be Azamat. I think Ryan Loder's cautiousness, is that a cautiousness? Ryan Loder's cautiousness. Cautiousness? There's no way cautiousness is a word. Ryan Loder. Where I'm trying to go with this is Ryan Loder being as cautious as he is will work against him. All it's going to do is give Azamat time to set up, Azamat time to see where Ryan's stepping, what he's committing to, and then time his own takedown. I think Azamat runs through here because I think whoever gets the first takedown is going to win. I don't think either one of these guys are going to be great off their back. They're going to be very uncomfortable there. Azamat is going to be the pick with 21 fights of experience under his belt. 22. What the hell's wrong with me? 22 fights of experience under his belt. He almost has 3 times the amount of experience. He is also a very high-level wrestler. Azamat's going to be the pick. 3-1 seems appropriate given the circumstances. Then we have Yana Santos taking on Miesha Tate. Your eyes did not deceive you. That is Miesha Tate. She is fighting still at 198 years old. The fact that she's only 38 is actually mind-blowing. She has been in the UFC, it feels like, for multiple generations. Like, she was in the UFC when it was... That was the theme song when she was in the UFC. And here she is, getting after it, still, at 38 years old. It's crazy. We'll start on the Yana side. We have Yana Santos, Thiago Masneretta Santos' wife. Not that matters for this breakdown, but just so you know. She's a high-volume striker. She lands almost 5 significant strikes per minute. She does not have a ton of power. She's got plenty of output. She mixes things up well. She's got nice kicks. She uses them to maintain distance. She has offensive wrestling as well, which we've seen her lean on in the past, but it does come with a low 53% accuracy and an even lower 42% defense. She's coming off that bounce-back win over Chelsea Chandler, where the striking and speed were on full display. She's taking on Miesha Cupcake Tate, former bantamweight champion of the world who fought some of the best women on the planet in that era. She is also the Celebrity Big Brother champion, where she dominated start to finish. And I'm 100% serious. I'm a giant Big Brother fan. I've actually, last couple of years, I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I was a giant Big Brother fan. And when she was on Celebrity Big Brother, I was dialed in, and she dominated. Great in the physical competitions, great in the social aspect of it all. People weren't threatened by her, and not that she's like physically imposing, but she's a literal professional athlete. So usually on those shows, they try to get those people out because they can win the competitions and control the fate of the show. And this is a Big Brother rant, but you're going to fucking deal with it. She did an unbelievable job managing the relationships. She did an unbelievable job managing the physical activities and the competitions and making stuff happen. And that shows how high IQ she is. That shows how well-rounded she is, both in her personal life and in the octagon. Miesha Tate did all the right things to try to build a successful career. She moves forward. She's trying to clean up the striking. It's not great, but she will strike with you. She'll shoot the takedowns. Pretty high-level grappler. She's very inactive, but making a return after a submission win over Julia Avila in 2023. I am going to go with Yana here. I'm going with the dog. I will say that I do these predictions, I do these breakdowns before I watched the previous night's fights. And that matters because Yana Santos' last win was over Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler just got sparked. Terrible, trash, dog shit. So all of a sudden, Yana Santos' last win isn't as like, oh, okay, yeah, she just beat a giant. I'm still going to keep the pick here, though. Yana looked good in her last fight. And even though it was a pretty non-standard interview, in the post-fight, she said that her previous 2 camps were a disaster because of breastfeeding. I have no idea if that's true or not, but I do know she looked great in her last fight, and that Miesha is about as old and one-dimensional as you can get for this division. She's going to work on the striking. She'll throw the strikes, but there haven't really been those evolutions, and Yana Santos is by far the better striker. She was a kickboxer before her MMA career. Miesha's going to charge forward, desperately look for a takedown, and if she isn't able to get one, she will be mauled on her feet. I think Yana will have too good of footwork, too good of striking for Miesha. Yana's the pick, and if a 3.5 bet is on the table, I will likely grab it. You don't always get that 3.5 bet. If you don't know what that is, that's betting the spread. You're buying points on the judges' scorecard. Yana is an underdog, but you typically need wider odds for them to put that out there. I guarantee if it does get put out there because the odds widen, it's going to be juiced, but I think Yana can absolutely win this fight straight up, let alone if I bought a few points on the judges' scorecard. Yana's the pick. The sport just passes some people die. It just passes them by. Anthony Smith was also under 40 years old, and he got mauled. Miesha Tate's under 40 years old. Don't imagine this is going to go well. And before we go ahead and hit this main card, let me go ahead and hit your wallet for $50. If you go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, if you sign up with any one of our partners and make a deposit, we will send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. You'll use the link. You'll sign up. You'll make a deposit. They're going to pay me. Hey, Ange, thanks for the new customer. I'll say, no problem. Then they're going to pay me. I'll slice off some of that money and I'll give it right back to you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. Let me remind you that if you go to the rest of the website, WeWantPicks.com, we have a whole suite of tools, picks, bets, everything you can need heading into a fight week. Those tools, those picks, those bets will help you hopefully have success on every Saturday. The latest and greatest tool is the Tape Index. This will give you a full fight library for every single fighter on every card. It's built out for the future. UFC 316 is up and ready to go. If you want to do your research 2 months ahead of time, go ahead and select your event, select your fighter. You will get their full fight history. You click on one of those fights, you'll get some details. You click on the little red play button, video pops up. You can go ahead and watch that tape. You also have access to the brand new DraftKings optimizer that we coded from scratch with the beginner mode. You'll have access to the fight simulator we released a few months ago. The fight simulator is going to simulate fights 100,000 times. Every single fight on the card. It'll bring in historical grappling stats, historical striking stats. It will simulate those fights, give you those outputs. It'll give you the outputs in multiple ways. You can build DraftKings fantasy lineups. You can use those outputs to go ahead and find some bets, including prop bets. And you're going to get all of that and a million other things I did not mention for an entire month. And here's what that month looks like. You're going to get this card, UFC Des Moines. You're going to get UFC 315 next weekend. You're going to get the UFC Fight Night with Gilbert Burns and Michael Morales, the UFC Fight Night with Aaron Blanchfield, and Macy Barber. All of these events included, every single tool, pick, bet. There's no tiers, no nonsense. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And finally, everything we do is available inside of the app. Download the app now. It's 100% free. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store. Download the app. Make sure notifications are on, and you will get push notifications. If you're a premium member, you'll get notifications when bets are placed and when things happen. If you're not a premium member, you will still get push notifications for when things happen. Hey, this fight dropped. Hey, here's some crazy shit you need to check out and get ready for. Download the app, turn on notifications, 100% free from the App Store. And finally, UFC 315, as I mentioned, is a full-blown pay-per-view. A full-blown pay-per-view, which means we do a full-blown mail day. If you want to send something to be opened, to be read, to be eaten, We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. Let's go ahead and break down this main card. It is a solid fight night. Undercard is okay. Main card is pretty good. And not every fight needs to matter for the division. And this one is one of those. This fight means literal nothing for the division, but it should be fun. We have the return of Jeremy Stephens, and he is taking on the returning Mason Jones. Both of these gentlemen were cut by the UFC a while ago, and both of them are back. Jeremy Stephens is a familiar name to the diehard UFC fans, but also an odd signing for this card. He was a UFC staple for many years. He was on the wrong side of the very famous "who the fuck is that guy" quote. He has a handful of exciting fights, a couple of solid wins before hitting a 5-fight skid and being cut by the UFC. The losses didn't stop there. He went to the PFL. He was 1-2, ultimately left for bare knuckle. Skill-wise, heavy-handed striker, ton of power, a lot of experience for this division, pretty well-rounded fighter, but never had the skills to compete at the top of the division, and he spent the majority of his career just sitting down, bombing overhands, and chasing KOs. Similar to Jeremy, Mason Jones was cut by the UFC, and he is now back with another crack at the big show. Mason is an aggressive striker. He's got nice boxing, great takedowns. He has a fantastic 80% takedown defense, and if he gets taken down, he gets back up, immediately starts working. He also has his own solid takedowns with an average of more than 3 takedowns per fight. He's coming off the 4-fight regional win streak, which earned his way back into the UFC. Jeremy is always fun to watch. Likely got his second chance in the UFC because of his 3-0, his undefeated record in bare knuckle fighting. He is from Des Moines, Iowa, so that likely explains the signing. But the problem is, being from the town that's hosting an event doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. Anthony Smith didn't have that same success at UFC Kansas City. Jeremy Stephens won't here. I expect Jeremy to put on a show, as he always does. I think he'll be swinging for the fences, bombing away. I also expect him to be taken down a few times, overall be the slower fighter, and I think Mason Jones is going to pick him apart and beat him up. I don't know if there's going to be a finish here, lots of questions, but Jeremy Stephens will be exciting. He will be fun. He will not be the winner. Mason Jones is the pick. Then we have Cameron Smotherman taking on Serhiy Sidey. This is going to be an interesting fight. The odds and the general public's perception are very, very different. The odds have Serhiy Sidey as a -170 favorite. If you head over to the websites where you can vote on who you think wins, you're going to see 70% of the general public is picking Cameron Smotherman here. So it's a very interesting split situation. I don't know if the line's going to move. I don't know if it's going to flip, or if the people voting don't bet so they don't actually move the line. But it is an interesting breakdown. You don't see that very often. Cameron Smotherman is coming off a successful short notice step up to lock in a UFC contract. Style-wise, he's a patient and accurate striker who will throw in combinations. He's not particularly busy, but he does manage striking distance well. His takedown defense is okay, but if he ends up on the ground, he does not have much to offer. He's coming off that short notice win over Jake Hadley, where Jacob yelled at the referee until a point was taken for the eye pokes. He's taking on Serhiy Sidey. Serhiy Sidey is a tall, long striker who can grapple as well. He's a powerful guy who, despite being so tall and so long, doesn't really use that range well on his feet. He likes to plot forward, keep that jab in your face, and then throw big when he sees an opening. He can be taken down. He can get his legs chopped, but even when he is taken down, he has solid enough BJJ off of his back to pull off the win. He is shockingly chinny, but he is very tough. He's coming off that close win over Garrett Armfield, where he landed fewer total strikes. Fewer significant strikes. He was taken down 4 times and he gave up 5 minutes of control. And being in this space is interesting. On one hand, I get to talk about fights and make content, which is fun. I get to meet a lot of you at events, and some of you were cool. Some. A lot of you are genuine people, and it's a lot of fun doing all of this. It has effectively changed my life and my outlook on strangers. I also get to interact with attention-starved basement dorks who think yelling and screaming in the comments means anything to anybody. And I bring this up because after Serhiy's last fight, I sat in this chair and I said, I don't think he won. I made the point. I used facts like he landed fewer total strikes. He landed fewer significant strikes. He was taken down several times. I articulated my point well because that's what I do. And I still somehow managed to piss off a chain-smoking basement dweller so much that he said, I'm canceling my premium. I would never watch another video again. Yet here he is every week in his own words. I'm just hate watching this video. Well, dog dick licker, whatever the hell your username is, I'm here to tell you again, Serhiy Sidey did not win his last fight. And if you are that obsessed with the fact that he did win, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. The stats tell a different story. And you know what? Even if you feel like he did win, it was close enough for it to be a healthy, normal debate without rage messaging in a comment section. And frankly, I think Cameron Smotherman can win here. Serhiy Sidey's biggest skill is just, I'm tall. That's it. That is his biggest skill, being tall. Cameron Smotherman showed us on short notice he doesn't care. I think Cameron Smotherman can win this fight. Cameron is a dog. He looked great against Jake Hadley, and if he can get inside of that range, he can look great here too. Cameron Smotherman is the pick. I don't know if I'm going to bet on that, but I'm definitely saying it. Cameron Smotherman is the pick going with the underdog. Then we have Montel Jackson taking on Daniel Marcos. This is a very interesting fight. Undefeated Daniel Marcos, surging Montel Jackson. This fight matters very much for the bantamweight division. Montel Jackson has been making a name for himself with his power, but he is a good wrestler. He added striking later in his career. He's very well-rounded, has a resume full of knockouts, decisions, and submissions. His takedown accuracy is an impressive 71%. He has an average of almost 4 takedowns per fight. Oftentimes, people focus on his power and not his wrestling credentials. At one point in time, he was at the Olympic Training Center. I'm stumbling. He was at the Olympic Training Center with hopes to compete at that level. He is coming off that knockout win over Damon Blackshear about 9 months ago, which, based off of the Kansas City fight, has aged pretty well. Daniel Marcos is his opponent, and Daniel Marcos is no slouch. He's an effective striker with power and accuracy. He does a nice job of stringing together combinations marching forward. He'll throw 1-2s. He'll follow up with flying knees and elbows. His takedown defense is solid at 88% with 8 knockouts and 9 decisions. We know he's dangerous. We also know he has cardio for 3 rounds. He's coming off that razor-close decision over Adrian Yanez, where he had the striking volume, but Yanez had the bigger moments. And this is an excellent matchup. Both guys are on nice win streaks. They're both sniffing a spot inside of the top 10. It's also hard to pick. It's also hard to look at this and say, I'm positive this guy's going to win. The odds have done that. The odds have made Montel Jackson the 2-1 favorite, and I am surprised. Those are pretty wide. I understand Montel being the favorite because he has the power and the wrestling. But Marcos has a chin on him. He's got very good takedown defense. I also trust Marcos' cardio more than Montel's. And not that I have seen Montel gas, but I've definitely seen Marco push into overdrive. The general public and the sports books are very squarely on the Montel Jackson side. I'm going to go the other direction here. I'm picking Daniel Marcos. Bet-wise, as long as these odds stay as wide as they are, plus 3.5. I think we end up with a decision here, and I think Marcos can steal around. Same way he did against Adrian Yanez. There was a couple big moments in that fight. Marcos was in a little bit of trouble, was able to survive. You could blame Yanez for that, or you can give Marcos credit. I'm going to pick Marcos here. We'll see what the line does. If it continues to widen, that plus 3.5 should be a great price point. If you don't know what that is, you buy points on the judges' scorecard. That's all it is. And you can use those points to basically make a wide fight not as wide. And that was the worst description I could have ever given. Essentially, you get 3 rounds in a fight. Every judge has to score each one of those rounds, 10 or fewer. And the way it all totals up is as long as Daniel Marcos wins 1 round on all 3 judges' scorecards, you should be good, and that bet should hit. And I think we could have a 29-28 here, right? Even if Daniel Marcos loses a split, if he loses a 29-28, or if he wins by any means, that hits. So we'll see what those look like when that bet drops, but that is the only bet I would really explore in this fight. Then we have Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Daniel Rodriguez. Santiago Ponzinibbio is a good striker. He likes to stay out of the pocket. His striking is clean. He does a really good job managing range. He's got a handful of big knockouts, but it typically isn't one-punch raw power. It's usually volume and pressure. He doesn't have a lot in the way of grappling offense, but he does have a solid 71% takedown defense. He's coming off that massive knockout win over Carlston Harris at UFC Vegas 101. He's taking on Daniel Rodriguez, a very good boxer who picks his shots well. He's got good takedown defense, but not as much to offer in the grappling department. His boxing is crisp, and when he isn't worried about takedowns, his hands are deadly, and he hits a rhythm. When he is worried about the takedowns, he can fade later because he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to focus on. He's coming off that decision win over Alex Morona, where it took him a full round to figure out the striking, but once he did, he took over. Should be another fun fight. 2 guys with striking who don't typically shoot takedowns. I expect a good old-fashioned slug fight here. And when you get a slug fight, it's hard to expect a specific outcome. I think Daniel wins here. I think it ends up being a close decision, and I think he takes it because of forward pressure and the fact that Ponzinibbio wears damage on his face. Ponzinibbio gets busted up. Daniel's going to be the pick. If we somehow, we probably won't, but if we somehow get a 1.5 round line, woo! We're going to feed families with that for generations. Daniel Rodriguez is the pick. I think he's going to be the cleaner overall striker. The problem is if he takes the first round off and it takes him a little while to figure it out, now he's playing catch up. I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to ride with him. Our old school friend, Jesse Correa, has been watching this channel since day one. He's a big Daniel Rodriguez guy. So, Jesse, I'm going to ride with you. You and I together. Let's go with D-Rod. And then we have a very interesting co-main event. And you will probably expect a certain narrative from me in about 10 seconds here, but you're not going to get what you expect. We have Renier de Roder, which I know is not how you pronounce his name, okay? Just let me have some fun. God forbid the big man has a couple of minutes of fun on a Sunday morning. We have Renier de Roder taking on Bo Nickal. Also, I'm happily married, kids, all that, but I do like to show the women I can roll my R's. They love it. I would not, if I were you and you somehow got yourself a girlfriend or a wife, I don't know how you did it, but congratulations to you. If you managed to do that and you're watching this video, I would not watch this like with the volume up because she's going to hear Renier de Roder. She's like, whoa. Did I just hear Pepe Le Pew? And you know how he was with the ladies. So be careful, boys. Big Angels here. We got Renier de Roder taking on Bo Nickal. Renier is a former 2-division champion in ONE FC. Solid grappler, good takedowns, great submissions. He's a very tall guy for the division. He uses that length well on the ground. He'll strike as well, but it's not very clean. He definitely thrives on the ground, and he seems a bit out of sorts on the feet. He's coming off that quick win over Kevin Holland, where he also got a takedown almost as fast as your mother puts out on a first date, taking on Bo Nickal. Big-time American wrestling standout. He has multiple Division I national championships as well as world champion medals. He's obviously an incredible wrestler who has transitioned to MMA and taken those skills with him. His style is pretty obvious. He wants to come forward and shoot takedowns. We did just see, though, in his last fight, the evolution of his MMA career. He took the wrestling off. He said, you know what? I'm fighting a guy who's not very dangerous on the feet, is kind of dangerous on the ground. I'm 100% sure I can get it to the ground. So let me spend this fight on the feet so I can work my hands and get more comfortable. And that's what he did. He beat Paul Craig in a pretty uneventful fight, but it is important. Bo Nickal only has 7 fights. 7 fights. 7 fights. And he's already on giant cards, co-main fight nights, on main cards of pay-per-views. It's a lot of pressure on him. And his only real skill last year was just being a good wrestler. So he's trying to evolve, and this is a lot early in his career. Renier de Roder is no bum. On our call-in show last Thursday, if you don't know, on most Thursdays, not all, depends on what's going on in real life, I hop on live, and you guys call in. You ask questions. You literally call in. Like your video is on screen with me, and we talk about some things. I had a premium member call in. He told me that I am too biased towards wrestlers and wrestling in general. He cited some of my thoughts on close decisions and how I tend to score takedowns more than most people do. And this fight breakdown going to be no different. But there is going to be a little bit of a twist. It is undeniable that Bo is the far better wrestler. But as I have said many times before, these things don't always come down to who the more accomplished wrestler is, but who can get the first takedown. Renier is big as shit. And if he simply shoots first, it is very plausible that he gets a takedown. And once they hit the actual mat, it is undeniable who the better grappler is. I am going to pick Bo, because he's a high-level athlete getting high-level training, and I imagine they're prepared for the takedowns. But even though this is the most affordable Bo Nickal has ever been, this is a guy who was minus 1,500, minus 2,500, I believe, at one point. This is a guy who has had some insane lives, and now he's only 3-1. Even though he is that affordable, I'm probably going to take a step back on this one and just watch. Renier is big. Renier will shoot his own takedowns. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. And it's not like Bo Nickal, outside of that one fight, has crazy power in his hands. Just going to leave this alone, watch this one play out. And if Bo Nickal sparks Renier and we never get minus 300 odds again on him, then it is what it is. We missed out. But I'd rather miss out on that side than go ahead and lay down a ton of money on Bo Nickal only to watch him get taken down and ragdolled and having people sitting here, he's a Division I. I'm telling you, man, as somebody who has wrestled his entire life, and did I wrestle at that level? No, of course not. But as somebody who has wrestled his entire life, I will tell you right now, especially in a fist fight, the person who shoots first has far more success. It is much easier to finish a bad takedown than it is to defend one, especially in a fist fight. Bo Nickal's the pick, but I'm a little weary. Then Then we have the main event of the evening. Corey Sandhagen taking on Figueiredo, affectionately known as Figgy. Corey Sandhagen is a very active striker. He lands a little more than 5 significant strikes per minute with deceiving power and solid technique. He's fluid, he's fast, he's very good with combinations and variety. He's going to throw punches, kicks, elbows, knees, and mix up where they land. He's athletic, he's tough, he ties it all out with solid BJJ. Corey is a hard night out for anyone, including Umar Nurmagomedov, where he was taken down 5 times, but he defended 8. He's taking on Figueiredo, the former flyweight champion of the world who moved up to bantamweight later in his career. Since moving up to bantamweight, we've seen the cardio improvements and a much higher focus on wrestling. He has 9 takedowns in his last 4 fights, which is more than his previous 7 fights combined. He's a well-rounded guy who is dangerous everywhere. He has power in his hands, well-timed takedowns, a BJJ black belt, and he's got some dog in him. He's coming off that decision loss to Petr Yan, where he had a couple of takedowns, but he could not hang in the striking. At 135 pounds, Figgy looks good. Looks like he reinvented himself. But a lot of that has to do with his wrestling and his improved cardio. Not cutting all the way down to 125 has actually helped him. It has benefited him. I do think that will matter here. I don't think he's going to have the takedowns needed or the success striking. So even though at 135 pounds, he has a little more cardio than he did before, and he's able to get a little more takedowns than he was in the past, I don't think it's going to matter here. I don't think Figueiredo is going to be able to come forward, hang with the striking, and take down Corey. This should be a pretty straightforward Corey win. I wouldn't be surprised if Corey worked in his own takedowns, like when he beat Rob Font. Corey is sitting at a healthy minus 450 right now. You see minus 550 on the slide. And I left it there on purpose because I did this slide 4 days ago. I do the graphics first, then the breakdowns. And the odd swing from 4 days ago to now is actually pretty crazy. It is tightening. And now what I don't know is it tightening because 550 was too far, or is it going to continue to tighten? And we're going to end up with a very affordable Corey Sandhagen. If Corey Sandhagen dips anywhere with a 3 in front of it, done. Done. Because I think he wins this fight 8 out of 10 times. And even at minus 550, if you think somebody wins 80% of the time, those are solid odds. Corey Sandhagen is going to be the pick. Devison's got some dog in him, but he's going to be undersized. He's not going to be able to keep up with the striking. Corey Sandhagen's got a chin. He's too durable. He can wrestle. He's got crazy footwork. Corey Sandhagen wins this fight, again, 8 out of 10 times. Guys, that is the breakdown. Don't forget to download the app. It is 100%, 100% sign free. Just go to the App Store, search We Want Picks. Make sure notifications are turned on so you can be notified when bets are placed or when crazy things happen in this sport. You'll have full access to every single thing that we do if you become a premium member. Premium membership is available on the website. Just go to WeWantPicks.com and click Become a Member. Premium membership includes a suite of tools, all sorts of picks, all sorts of bets, insight, and information. Quite literally everything you can ever want or need, whether you like to do your own research, whether you like to just copy paste, whether you're big into DraftKings, Fantasy, FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks, literally everything. The latest and greatest is the tape index, where you have every single fighter on every single card built out for the future. You have their full fight history, and if it has a little red play button next to that fight, you click the button, video pops up, you can watch that tape. We have a brand new DraftKings optimizer we built from scratch. We have the brand new fight simulator we built from scratch. We have the data analyzer that we built from scratch. We have the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. We have the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And we have more than just my beautiful face. If you go to the website and you bang around a little bit, you'll see we got BetSam. We've got Artem. Artem is picking regional cards at remarkable accuracy. It's actually insane what he's doing. I do recommend, if there's a couple of regional, like a Cage Warriors or some regional card, LFA, go to the website, under analysis, click on Artem, read his article, check his picks. He has picked 2 perfect regional cards in the last 5 weeks or whatever it is. BetSam's out here doing God's work with the bets. I don't know how the hell he's doing, honestly. I am jealous of his slam of the week. It is at a much better percentage than the safety parlay, which is at a wild percentage. We have an artificial intelligence picking bets based solely off historical data. All sorts of stuff. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is the best way to support us and what we are doing. Good luck this weekend.